From Careco TV, one of the longest running outdoor programs on television today. Exploring the country and the coast in search of adventures. From the mountains of the great Northwest to the shores of the Atlantic Ocean. This is Americana Outdoors, presented by Garmin. Americana Outdoors' Jeff Reynolds takes us out for a bass fishing adventure on Lake Bastrop, Texas. But first, we meet up with Pro Clark Wendlandt as he goes fishing with Power Pole's Curt on Wilson Lake, Alabama. Boat positioning is definitely a crucial part to every technique in bass fishing, just as important as the line, rod, or casting presentation itself. And a lot of times, boat position is something anglers don't pay enough attention to.
You know, boat positioning, in my opinion, is an art. People that have managed that and are aware of it, they tend to catch more fish because they don't let their boat get away from them, get on top of the fish, get away from the line they need to be recreating the cast on. So to me, boat positioning and managing that art, that skill, really is the way a lot of people can separate themselves from another angler. How do you do that? Well, you pay attention to everything that's going on around you. Pay attention to why and when you got that bite, put the boat back in that spot. A good way to be able to do that, save a waypoint right there. Push the button, mark the waypoint, save it, know that you can navigate right back to it. Drop your power poles is another phenomenal way in a lot of the shallow water situations. You drop a pair of dual power poles, I don't care what direction your boat's facing, you're gonna lock yourself in and be able to make that cast over and over. And being able to make a cast over and over a lot of times is the key to getting a bite consistently, especially when fish are located in one specific small spot and where you got to make that cast to get bit again.
That was awesome though. You know, he bit it that first time and he came back and got it. That's what you want to see, something a little bit aggressive.
Yeah, he was definitely hungry.
He sure was, that's a nice fish.
I got one.
Good. Oh, did he come off?
Nope.
Oh, good.
He's still there. He's not very big.
There you go.
It's a way to get the day started though.
That's exactly right. Throwing a couple different baits, one top water, one swim jig, that's cool.
Hopefully we can keep going up from there.
Yeah, I hope so. That was pretty fun. You know, the thing about it is, Curt, is to me, when you're fishing shallow cover, it's all about boat positioning. And if you can actually get your boat in there and not get in there and spook the fish, that's kind of the key. Without poles, you know, used to be we'd make a turn like that and then all of a sudden we'd be just sliding right into the dock. Now, you got poles, boom, it's down, I'm fishing, I can fish as long as I want, and everything's perfect. Power pole has just become really a critical part of what I do. As a tournament angler, I use it in so many different ways. You know, the most obvious one is stopping to fish an area wherever I want in shallow water. And you know, but that's just one of the things it can do. I love it for boat control. To me, when I'm fishing docks, if I'm fishing logs, anytime I get in a situation where I get in a little too close, if I go in and I want to get my bait unhung from something, I can still stop and fish instead of having to blow it out with a trolling motor. It's huge for me. That's a nice fish. You know, I really was not 100% sure that was a bite, but I thought, God, I think it probably is. That's a nice fish. That was pretty awesome. And when I set the hook, he was like in some grass and I couldn't even really tell, but it was definitely a fish. That's pretty cool. That's awesome, flipping.
I think if that's the case, I might have to.
I'm really having fun with this.
I can't tell.
When you ask your partner if he wants to switch to a worm and then you suddenly feel a bite, that's probably a pretty good sign you might ought to switch.
Probably.
That's fun. Gave us a show. Yeah, actually, let me set these power poles down. You know what I was doing there, I set them down and I caught like 3 or 4, and I thought, you know, maybe I'll move up just a little bit, and then I got another bite. So let's get you changed up.
Fishing is all about capitalizing on opportunities and making the most of your time on the water. With the unmatched versatility of Power Pole, you have a shallow water anchor that deploys silently, holds strong, and gives you the best shot at putting more fish in the boat, all at the touch of a button. Power Pole puts control in the palm of your hand. Hey, if you're interested in getting a Power Pole for your boat, check out the full lineup of Power Pole shallow water anchoring at basspro.com and cabela's.com.
As people who love the outdoors, we know what we stand for. We stand for fish, wildlife, and conserving the places they call home. We stand for the traditions we inherited and that we must pass on. We stand for great gear, fair prices, expert service, and memorable experiences. At Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, we stand together for you.
You sons of fishes. Ain't enough fish on this lake for 2 clubs.
Really? Well, we see plenty of fish live with Panoptics.
Yep. Dang! We should get Panoptics. Or maybe we'll just take yours.
What's going on here? You boys have license?
Yes, sir.
Nope. There he is.
Oh, I got it.
Americana Outdoors, presented by Garmin, is brought to you by Garmin. Fight your fish, not your fish finder. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. Yamaha Marine. Reliability starts here. And by Power Pole. Swift, silent, secure. Welcome back to Americana Outdoors. We're fishing shallow grass on Wilson Lake, Alabama with Clark Wendlandt and Power Pole's Curt Hill.
Yeah, I got that one.
Can't call your shots. It's not fair.
No. Not a bad little fish.
In shallow water boat positioning, I mean, there's guys that are just experts at it. Guys like a Clark Wendlandt that, you know, he's a very forward-thinking fisherman. He's looking ahead the whole time. He's maneuvering his boat in, giving himself multiple different angles to be able to trigger a bite, you know. And sometimes that calls for repetitive casts to the exact same location.
To me, Curt, this is a classic example of a way you can use your power poles. I mean, it's a fairly obvious one, but you know, all I've got to do is I hit 2 buttons with the lanyard, poles jump up, I move up. I might only move 10 feet, set them back down, and then I can actually comb all this, because you can't tell where a fish would be in this. If you fish this really fast, you're not going to be able to cover it really good. And so, you know, and if there's any wind, and your boat's always drifting one way or another. To me, it's all about the poles when you're fishing cover like this.
Today we've been using the 2-button remote for the power poles to deploy them for most of the day.
Right.
But there's other ways you can deploy them as well, and you can go through a couple of setting features as well. Like the advanced console switch that comes with them. You've got your 3 different speed controls on there for fast, medium, and slow. You can also pick from left, right, or both, so if you just want to turn the nose of the boat, you can lift one up, use your trolling motor to turn the nose of the boat. But we also offer foot switches as well. And they all come with the same features: double tap, auto up, auto down, or you can press and hold and deploy them at the depth that you want. You don't think they're in this little patch of thick grass, do you?
I think they might be. I bet I'll make another pitch there. I've been letting you work that patch over. What are you doing?
I don't know. Apparently not what you are. Watch. Here it comes.
You've got this one.
I called it.
Check that out. There you go. Pull him out of there. There's a bass. I catch a big giant bluegill and you catch a bass. I don't know why you got the bass, but you apparently did.
This time.
Maybe I'll get him next time. Good one.
That is a good one.
Get him in here.
We'll do that. That is a nice one there.
That's one worth getting a picture of. Wouldn't you
Yeah,
say?
I would think so.
You know, the interesting thing about it is when they first came out, when poles first came out, guys were just getting one pole. And that's what you'd see. You'd see just one mount on the back. And one's a fine option. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. But two makes it where that boat doesn't spin. You're going to be a little more secure. And I mean, now just about every boat you see, if they've got them, they've got two.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And we started in salt water. And it's funny, the bass guys actually adapted the two first. And then it went back to the saltwater guys. And everybody that I've ever talked to says when you have one power pole, you'll never go without one. When you have two power poles, you'll never go back to one.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
I mean, I can't imagine even owning a boat without a set of power poles anymore. I mean, I just realized, not only from unloading my boat, beaching my boat, setting them up, knowing that it's locked in and secure to culling when you're fishing a tournament, shallow water sight fishing, fishing grass beds, just working on gear and tackle. I mean, the usages of a power pole is endless. And you know, you pull up to a gas station a decade ago and everybody's like, what's that on the back of your boat? Now, it's just standard issue. If you don't have a power pole, your boat almost looks funny.
And if you don't want your boat to look funny, pick a power pole that fits your needs at BassPro.com and Cabela's.com. Coming up, Americana Outdoors' Jeff Reynolds shows you how to pick the right bait for a cold and tough fishing day.
Groundbreaking designs, unsurpassed quality, and unshakable confidence. Welcome to the Ranger Z500 and Z100 series. Leading the industry for over 50 years, these rigs are custom crafted and loaded with more features and advantages to deliver the ultimate ownership experience. The legendary Ranger Z series. Unleash next level performance.
Yamaha Outboards. Reliability starts here.
Yamaha's legendary reliability begins when you turn the key on your new outboard. Now, when you say yes to Yamaha reliability, turn the key on even greater value. For a limited time, purchase a qualifying Yamaha outboard up to 115 horsepower and get 5 years of warranty protection, plus up to $500 in dealer credit. And on qualifying 150 to 300 horsepowers, get 6 full years of warranty protection. So say yes to reliability and say yes to a great deal from Yamaha.
Americana Outdoors, presented by Garmin, has been brought to you by Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time. Engel Coolers, rugged, durable, high-performance marine coolers. And by Secret Lures, the secret is out. Welcome back to Americana Outdoors. We're following along with Jeff Reynolds on a fishing trip at Lake Bastrop, Texas.
You know, anytime you get to a lake you've never been to before, you know, sitting here tying stuff on, I'm just sticking with my confidence baits to start out with. You know, I'm just kind of looking at the lake out here behind me, and I can see, you know, in this lake a little bit. I know it's kind of a shallow lake. It's got some grass in it, got some cattails in it, so no telling us how we're going to catch them. It's cold today. A cold front has just come in, and you know, temperatures are in the upper 30s right now. Supposed to get up in the low 50s today. Just some of the baits that I like to use. This is a new bait that Secret Lures is coming out with, and they're calling it the Americana jig. It's just a flipping jig. The neat thing about this jig, if you're flipping heavy cover, you know, if you're flipping cattails, especially if you're flipping hydrilla, this jig has got a screw lock on it. With this screw lock on here, it don't pull your trailer off as bad. It's gonna hold it up there, and you're gonna be able to fish a lot longer with one trailer. The rattles on this, these are some loose rattles that just kind of swing around really loud. I don't know if you can hear it right there or not. The colors on the skirts, I mean, there's several different colors to choose from. Another neat thing I like about this is the way the eye is offset in here. You can see that it's kind of down in there instead of sticking out here on the edge of it. For me, that just makes it where it comes through cover a lot better. You're not getting little pieces of grass and stuff hung on the eye of your bait. It's gonna save you a lot of time out on the water for not having to put baits on all day. Simple to use, just push it and screw it on up there. It's just gonna be a great jig. I'm anxious to get out here and put it in the water and see if we can't catch something on it. Well, you can see right here, there's a ditch that runs right up in there, pretty narrow ditch. It shows to be pretty deep. It's like 20, 25 foot in the middle. The big point that runs out here, it's got a lot of grass on it, so we may start around this ditch and just kind of fish up through here. And I'm gonna start out here like this. I mean, water temperature 56, 57, and after this big cold front, might be a little slow today, but we're gonna see what we can do. Oop, there's one on the Americana jig. Perfect. Didn't pull the trailer down. Screw lock did its job. You know, when it gets really tough like this, I mean, this high pressure day, this fish me and Kevin were just kind of goofing around. I told him, I said, I know there's a little one over there because he bit my swim jig a while ago, but he wouldn't eat it. But all we did was come back through here, and this is just a 1/4 ounce little edge shaker. Got a little finesse worm on it, a little meatier finesse worm, but just a small worm. Sometimes when it's tough, you got to downsize, you got to go to smaller stuff and just try to get a bite. So that's what we did, and we'll probably throw that a lot more today, especially around some of this inside grass line on some of these points, just to try to get a bite and just go from there.
Go to secretlures.com to find a variety of jigs for a variety of situations. We'll be right back with Jeff Reynolds on a cold day in late January at Lake Bastrop, Texas.
Secrets are created to protect information, but keeping a secret is not as easy as it seems. For over a decade, anglers across the nation have used Secret Lures tackle to reel in their catch. From small ponds to large bodies of water and tour-level events, the secret to their success has been tied to the end of their line all along. They've been using Secret Lures. First you've heard of them? Maybe your fishing buddies aren't really your buddies. Visit secretlures.com and place your order today.
We demand a lot from the products that we use on our adventures around the world. When it comes to keeping things seriously cold, we rely on Angle Coolers, who have for over 50 years kept things cold. Angle Coolers, the original high-performance cooler.
I got my power pole down, stuck in the mud in the bottom of the lake, sitting so still in the wind and the waves, could even be a hurricane. I got my power pole down.
Americana Outdoors, presented by Garmin, has been brought to you by Sunline, the strength to guarantee your confidence. Sawyer Products, Sawyer, we keep you outdoors. And by Yamaha's proven off-road ATV and side-by-side vehicles. Welcome back to Americana Outdoors. It's a cold day on Lake Bastrop, Texas. The cold front is coming through. A low of 36 and a high of 49. It's been very hard to get a bite.
There he is. Lead shaker. You know, we just fished through there a while ago, throwing swim jig, moving bait, and had a bite right here on this point. And I mean, it's just typical for the way it is right now. Bluebird, fronts come through, and high pressure. Mr. Bass. He's like, get me back in the water, it's cold out here. You know, the lead shaker comes in a lot of different sizes, from 1/8 ounce all the way up to half, I think maybe 3/4 ounce. I mean, this is just a 1/4 ounce right here. You know, a lot of people throw an 1/8 ounce shaky head. When you got a lot of wind like this, and I'm throwing this, as you can see, on a bait caster. 20-pound line, but I'm throwing it around the hydrilla, you know, a lot of cover, so I'm not gonna throw light line. I don't think you need to. This water's a little bit off colored, but this weight's just big enough that I can throw it on this heavier tackle and get it down there and just kind of shake it around just like a finesse worm. And man, these little straight tail worms, they will eat them, especially in tough conditions. There he is. Little guy. That one on the lead shaker, they're not big, but as tough as it is right now, man, we'll take them any size. You know, the neat thing about this head, it has what we call the pivot divot head right there. You can see it's kind of like a little concave spot in it. And what that does, when you're dragging that on the bottom with this head, or especially, you know, like the 1/2 ounce, the bigger model, is that thing's just bouncing across the bottom, you know, on rocks or gravel or whatever you're dragging it across of, and really making a lot of commotion down on the bottom. And I think that's what triggers bites more than anything. You can feel it so much better. I've used other heads, when you're dragging across the bottom, you just don't feel as much. But with this one here, when you throw it out there and you start dragging it, you feel the bottom the whole time. And I think that makes a big key. Another one on the lead shaker.
The Secret Lures lead shaker combines the proven concept of the Secret Lures pivot divot head with the screw lock bait attachment of the tail shaker. The end result was several sizes of jig heads that can be fished at all depths, that will accommodate a wide range of bait sizes, from small finesse worms to baits well over 10 inches.
Found this little school of them up there, and that happens a lot this time of year. When you find a place, especially like this, either in these drains or on these inside grass lines on these little points, a lot of times when you find them, there'll be a school of them there. Obviously this is not the right size that we're looking for, but we're just having fun today, so you know, not every day you can catch giants. Days like this, when it's cold or not biting, you'll take whatever you can get. He's running to me with it. Finally got my worm. Well, I'm thinking this is gonna be the last cast. My toes are froze, my hands are froze. It has been a very challenging day, but you get stuff like that every now and then. That's what you gotta do sometimes. You gotta slow down and more or less finesse fish and just try to get bit.
Well, that's a wrap for Americana Outdoors this week. And if you need Secret Lures jigs for any tough conditions like today, well, go to secretlures.com, because the secret is out. Hey, thank you for watching, and join us next week on a new episode of Americana Outdoors. Americana Outdoors is a Careco TV production.
Probably one of the #1 questions I get, what line do I use? That's a big debate. On every tour out there, everybody's debating which line.
I choose the simple side. My choice of line is Sunline.
One of my favorite lines to use is Sunline.
How all can you use it? Anywhere you want to. Anywhere there's water and bass, it's good. Walleye, catfish, trout, speckled trout, sharks.
There we go.
I don't say this unless I think it's true, but honestly, it's the best in the market.
At Sawyer, we use the best technology to make simple products that keep you going regardless of your journey. So whether you're boating, hiking, fishing, camping, or hunting, we keep you outdoors with a full lineup of products to both protect you and make the outdoors more enjoyable. Sawyer, we keep you outdoors.
Here at Big Bite Baits, we've got a big line of different plastics, and they're all a tool, so you want to have them with you all the time.
I made several checks in crowded areas flipping that right there. Just a 6-inch big bite creektail worm.
Here at Big Bite, we came out with 4 brand new colors this year. All 4 of these colors are going to be great fish catching baits. Definitely my #1 go-to bait that Big Bite has out right now is the Big Bite Battle Bug.
Big Bite is leading the way when it comes to innovation and colors.
Many said that we were just obsessed when we started, that there had to be an easier way to smoke food. As time passed, the Bradley family created a lineup of Bradley electric smokers that has made it easier for the novice or even expert chef to get perfect results every time they use it. Grab yourself a Bradley smoker and take your cooking to an all-new level.
Combining the best of old world craftsmanship with state-of-the-art technologies to bring fishermen everywhere a fishing rod that's feather light, extremely sensitive yet remarkably durable for any fishing condition or situation. Denali rods, tournament tested and tournament tough.
Hobie's Mirage Drive kayaks set the standard for fun on the water. Whether your passion is fishing, sailing, or recreational adventure, Hobie's got a kayak for you. Hobie's Mirage Drive mimics nature's proven designs for efficient and powerful propulsion and enhances your kayaking experience. Mirage Power, Mirage Performance, Mirage Drive. Hobie, enjoy the ride.